Have you ever walked out of a family member's funeral with a genuine smile on your face? My son Ronnie and my nephew Jackson weren't just cousins. They were a two-man cult, the kind of best friends that made you question if they shared a single brain cell between them. When they were 9, they got lost in Honolulu playing Pokemon Go. We found them 4 hours later pretending to be orphan brothers begging tourists for money to call home. They invented a secret language called Blorbish, with actual grammar rules. Every birthday, they gave each other the same gift, a rubber duck named Tupac Shakur, back and forth for 6 years. 12 years old and already the most chaotic duo I'd ever witnessed. Then one weekend, Ronnie went camping with his scout troop. The scout leader called me that Sunday. There's been an accident at the river. My stomach dropped. Ronnie lost his footing crossing a log bridge. I gripped the counter as he continued. The current was too strong. Ronnie got swept away. My face went pale. I waited for the next words. We found him a mile downstream. By the time we pulled him out, he paused. I'm so sorry. It was too late. I dropped my phone. My knees buckled and I hit the kitchen tiles, making a sound that didn't seem human. My husband rushed home from work and found me still on the floor, still making that sound. We held the service that Saturday. I sat in the front row in a black dress with the tag still on. The whole family was there. Friends, too. Over 200 people. But there was one person who wasn't. Jackson. I kept turning around, scanning the pews. My sister was talking to me frantically. He said he needed to do this alone. He couldn't be around anyone for it. We waited over an hour for him to come, but he never did. We couldn't wait any longer. The pastor began, and then, as soon as he said the first words, the doors swung open. Jackson. But he didn't look sad. Instead, he had a smile and a literal speaker on his shoulder. Another One Bites the Dust by Queen was blaring full volume. Another one bites the dust. Hey, hey, another one bites the dust. Freddie Mercury's voice cut through like butter on a hot skillet. The bass rattled the whole service. Jackson was strutting down the aisle like he was entering a WWE ring. Yo, Ronnie, he called out. This is not funny, bro. I couldn't breathe. My nephew was dancing at my son's funeral. My sister immediately yanked him into a pew, ripped the speaker away, and killed the music. The silence was somehow worse. The pastor continued, hands trembling. Okay, we shall now start the service. But Jackson couldn't stay quiet. Every few minutes he'd yell, "You'll never beat the Irish," an inside joke between him and Ronnie, or start singing, "Give Jellyfish Fields a chance." Everyone was staring at him, angry, disappointed, confused, and in shock. But no one said a thing. No one dared to. How could they? Then suddenly, Jackson stopped making noise. He sat in silence for 20 minutes, then looked up with these teary eyes and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "He's not dead. My best friend can't be dead." Everyone's anger towards him shifted to sorrow instantly. We realized Jackson wasn't being disrespectful or playing some game. He was a 12-year-old boy drowning in denial, or so we thought. When end of the service came, everyone lined up to pass the casket. Jackson stood up too. My sister tried to grab him, but he pulled free and walked toward the front, towards the casket. The whole room tensed. What was he about to do? He reached the casket, looked down at Ronnie. His shoulders shook. Then he licked his finger and shoved his finger in Ronnie's ear. "Wet Willie," he yelled. At a funeral, to a corpse. The whole room paused. "Jackson!" I screamed, running toward him. The pastor dropped his Bible. Grandma staggered into my uncle's arms. Jackson stumbled backward, howling with laughter. I was about to tear Jackson a new one. Then I heard it. Someone said, "Wait, is Ronnie smiling?" I froze, turned back to the casket. My son's lips were twitching, corners pulling up. He was fighting a smile. Ronnie, his eyes shot up. "Goddamn Jackson, the Wet Willie? Really?" He sat up in the casket. The church exploded, screaming, crying. Grandma hit the floor. Jackson collapsed on the ground, laughing so hard no sound came out. Ronnie climbed out of the casket and grabbed him by the collar, also laughing. The pastor stood frozen like he'd witnessed an actual resurrection. I grabbed Ronnie and pulled him into me so hard I probably cracked a rib. Turns out when your son literally comes back from the dead, the first thought isn't how. It's "you're alive." I finally let go after what felt like hours. Then I grabbed both boys by the collar. "Explain, now." Jackson wiped his eyes, still wheezing from laughing. We made a bet. Ronnie said he could fake his death and make it through the whole funeral. If he won, I had to give him my PS5, the one I won at the gaming tournament. Ronnie grinned. I was so close. When I realized he had everyone fooled, Jackson said, I knew my only chain was to make him laugh. The Wet Willie was my last resort. I stared at them, these psychopaths I'd raised. "You realize," I said slowly, "we were going to cremate you tomorrow." Ronnie's smile vanished. Jackson's too. The room went silent. Ronnie looked at Jackson. Jackson looked at Ronnie. "I still want the PS5. Absolutely not." They argued about it for 3 weeks. By the way, we're suing the funeral home. What kind of idiots don't notice a 12-year-old isn't actually dead for 48 hours?